Hello everybody, welcome to another tutorial on unit testing in Python. If you have not seen my pytest introduction tutorial, then I would say pause right now and go watch that tutorial before continuing on this one. In this tutorial, we are going to cover how to skip test from running, also how to selectively run your test using the name as an expression, and the third thing we are going to look at is custom markers. Okay, I have this simple Python file here which has two functions. One is doing addition and the another one is doing multiplication. And then I have this test file which tries to do unit testing on those two functions. You can see here I have two tests returned. One is trying to verify functionality in calc total and the another one is trying to verify the other function. Okay, and when I run these two tests here, they work okay. You can see that it says that both the tests passed. Okay, now due to some reason, let's say I want to skip this particular test from running. How can I do that? In order to do that, you need to import pytest module first, and then you need to use a special decorator as I'm going to just show you. So you will say at pytest dot mark dot skip, and in skip you can provide an optional reason. I don't want to run this test at the moment. Okay, now this is not a very good reason, but you would specify some legitimate reason for not running this test. Okay, when I do that, let's see what happens. You can see that it skipped the first test. If you want to see a reason on why it skipped the test, you can specify minus rxs command. Okay, that's an option that you give in the command line. When you do that, here it will say I skipped test mathlib.py3 test number 3 because I don't want to run the test at the moment. So that's the reason why it skipped the test. Okay, and here it says this one is skipped and this one is passed. Okay, so skipping test in pytest is fairly simple. You need to just add this one line. All right, now sometimes you want to skip a test if it meets certain condition. Okay, so in that case you will do skip if. Okay, so in skip if, the first parameter will be your condition. So let's say I want to skip this test if it is a specific Python version. Okay, now how do you check Python version? So you know that it is the Python version is stored in sys.versioninfo. Okay, so sys.versioninfo will be giving you your current Python version. Okay, so let's say I want to skip this test if the version is greater than 3.5. okay, now my Python version, as you can see here, is Python 3.5.2. so guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna meet this condition and it should skip this particular test. Okay, so let's run this. Cool, so see, it skipped that test, and here also you can say skip. So the summary is one test pass, one test skip. Let's flip this condition just to make sure it is working as expected. So if the version is less than 3.5, then skip it. So now my version is obviously 3.5.2, so it is not going to skip the test but run it instead. So let's do it again. So as you can see, now it did not skip any test and passed all of them. Okay, so use skip or skip if you want to skip certain tests from running. Now, how do you run certain tests based on their name? Okay, so let's say I don't want to use this skip marker, because in that case I have to put skip marker in all the tests that I want to skip or run, right? So I don't want to use it, hence I'm removing right now. And let's say I want to run test based on their name. So for example, I want to run all the test which has multiply in their test name. So here I want to find a substring multiply, and whichever test contains multiply in their name, I want to run those. In order to do that, you have to run -k command. So here I can just say pytest -k multiply. This means run all the tests which has multiply in their test name. When I do that, it says one test passed, one test deselected. If you want more summary, you can use verbose option -v, and here it is saying that multiply test pass. So it ran only the test which had multiply, it skipped the other test. So it's saying that one test deselected. Okay, now both of these test name have calc in it. Okay, so let's say now I want to run all the test which has calc name calc in it. Okay, so let me just add some dummy test here. Test dummy, this is doing nothing, as true, just to kind of show you. Now I want to run only these two tests. How do I run it? Both have calc in it. Okay, so I am going to supply calc in -k option. So pytest -k calc -v. When I do that, you can see that it ran those two tests which had calc in it, and it deselected the third test. If you don't do -k calc, then it's gonna run all three tests. You see 3 tests passed versus 2 tests passed. Okay, so this is another powerful option that pytest offers, where you can run the test using their name. All right, now let's say I even don't want to go by their name, and I want to tag a certain test using a specific name or category, and I want to run the test based on that category. One good example would be, let's say your software or application is running on Windows and Mac OS, and you want to group your test based on the OS, these two OSs that they are running on. In order to do that, you will use custom markers. So the way custom marker works is, first you need to import pytest. Okay, and just to keep things simple, I will, okay, let me remove these tests and just create some dummy tests. So I'll say, okay, Windows, let's say this is the test which will test the functionality on Windows OS. Okay, so let's say for Windows OS I have 2 test cases, and similarly I have 2 test cases for Mac OS. Okay, and when I run it without any options, it will run all the tests. Now I am doing, let's say, my testing on Windows machine, and I can only run Windows test, I cannot run Mac test, so I want to skip them. So how do I skip them? So one option is you use name, but let's say I don't want to use name option, because sometimes you might have like 1,000 or more tests, and you don't want to go and name your test as Mac. Okay, I mean, that's just a restriction that no programmer or a QA person likes. So you will use custom markers in that case. So here you will say pytest.mark.windows. So Windows is a custom tag that you created. So this could be anything. This could be XYZ, any string that you want. Okay, I'm just using Windows as my tag. So I'm saying, okay, tag this test as Windows and tag these tests as Mac. Okay, so now they are having these categories. So these two belong to Mac category versus these two belong to Windows category. Now I can tell pytest to run either of them. And how do I do them? do that. So in order to do that, we have to use -m option. So you will say pytest -m mac. When I did that, it ran only mac test. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, how about Windows? So you can say Windows and it will run only Windows test. Okay, you can see that the two tests that it ran were Windows and the other two tests were deselected. Now you can also do reverse, and let's say I'm saying run Windows test, but I want to run all the tests other than Windows. Okay, so except those tests which are marked as Windows, run all of those tests. So if you want to do it, it's pretty simple. You will say not Windows in a double quote. So you can see it ran only Mac test. Okay, so that was all about skipping and selectively running your test in pytest tutorial. Thank you for watching.